We've actually got a request this week.
We don't. You're kidding.
We do. Hello, welcome to the Most Dangerous Podcast. How are you, James? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I'm all right. No, I'm not all right, actually.
No?
I'm knackered. Right. I hate this time of year, to be honest. You know, we've finished Christmas, it's New Year, and then you have to go back to work. And it's like, it's dark in the morning, it's dark when you get home, and I just can't stop being tired. It's horrible. How about you? Did you have a nice Christmas and stuff? Sorry for being a downer.
Christmas was okay. Yeah, it was all right. We went to Disneyland Paris for 4 nights just before Christmas.
Yeah, that's not bad, is it? Is it all right, Disneyland Paris? I was under the impression it was kind of like the sort of second-rate Disneyland thing.
The park's good. The park's really good, but the French staff are just fucking rude.
Oh right,
It's like
not too keen on the French, are you?
I didn't mind them. As we talked, I lived in France for a year, and I noticed that the more French I spoke, the cheaper my beer got, and the nicer people were, and stuff like that. I think they just don't like foreigners, you know.
Oh, right, okay. I think the French are mint. Do you know the thing about the French I love, right?
Go on.
Is as soon as there's like a minor inconvenience, they'll just have a strike. They'll just absolutely kick off. Like we're in this country, you know how like things are completely going to shit. So we've got like, the nurses are striking at the moment. Nothing really works, does it? Like I don't think I've had any posts for about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
We all just sit there and go, it's fine. Everything's going to be all right. Whereas I think like in France, they threaten to put up like a speeding camera on like a motorway somewhere, and then it was just caused like a national strike. They're like, no, we're not having this. I think the French people are brilliant in that respect. I think we need more French in this country.
Yeah, possibly. No, I'm not saying that. I did when I integrated into society there. They were all lovely people, but the striking was a bit of a pain in the arse because the buses were on strike probably 3-4 times a week.
Yeah, damn right, because they know what they want. It's the power to
but
the
no
people.
one told you. So you'd sit like a prick waiting for a bus for about an hour, and the French people would walk past you. None of them would think of stopping and saying, "Excuse me, mate, there's no buses today."
Yeah.
You'd see them walking back the other way an hour later, laughing at you.
Yeah,
you're still sitting there.
No, there's a strike on. Do you know what I think? The reason it is, right? I think is that like in France they had like a revolution, didn't they?
Yeah,
back in the 1700s or something. Let them eat cake. I think that was something to do with it. And they killed their king with the guillotine, right?
Guillotine,
yeah. And I think from that point, the people in power in France have always been a bit wary of the people, and they've kind of gone, all right, we better not piss them off too much, otherwise we'll all get guillotined, But that's never really happened here. I mean, we had like that revolution sort of years and years ago where I think it was Charles I got not assassinated, but executed. But I think the politicians here have never really had that threat.
No,
whereas in
they
France,
get away with murder.
Yeah, totally, absolutely, and they do get away with murder. Whereas in France, I think there's always that element of thinking, oh well, there could be another revolution.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago when the Queen was sitting on her own at her husband's funeral, and Boris Johnson was having a party.
No, it wasn't that long ago.
With his mates,
disgraceful.
And they actually said, yeah, that happened, but nothing was done about it.
No, too much power in this country. That's why I absolutely adore the French and the French mentality. Yeah. Anyway, we're going off track here, aren't we?
We are, yes. So we've got a request from TikTok, actually.
Oh, for real, right? So TikTok. So So if anybody hasn't heard this before, there is a TikTok account that you can look at. If you want to jump in and let the one listener know of our TikTok account.
Yeah, it's simply called The Most Dangerous Podcast. And if you search it up, you'll see our logo. Nice picture of me and James in cartoon form.
That's it. That's
Um,
not no.
so
That's how I look. That's how I look normally.
yeah, 2D. So yeah, it was a request from a TikTok fan, a dedicated listener, a chap that's his name in TikTok is Bear Plays, and his handle is at bear_plays_YouTube.
Bear
So we
plays, not
really,
him. Bear plays.
yeah, Bear Plays. Do you know him?
I do. Yeah, he's got over that incident in the car park, has he? You know the one. Remember
Oh, yeah,
with the
yeah.
fireworks and the midgets.
Tried to forget that.
Yeah, you got. So
Yeah,
he's all right now, is he?
he's all right. Yeah, I think they've let him back out.
If you let him back out, that's good.
Hmm.
Nice one, Bear.
Well, thanks for your suggestion. I'm going to tell the truth about his suggestion. He suggested the world's most dangerous landmark. What
Fantastic.
do you think of that, James?
Well, yeah, it's an interesting concept. To be fair,
Yeah.
um,
Landmark. I looked at that and I thought that's really good. That'll be easy. Landmark. And we agreed to do it. And I said to Bear, I said, you know what? I said, we'll do your podcast, and as a thank you, we'll send you something. We'll do it as we promised. And I made the promise, and then I started to look up what is a landmark.
yeah. Well, just on that point, the promise will be fulfilled.
Oh, it will, yeah.
But it might take a little bit of time. That's the only thing. We're
Yes,
having
yeah.
so it will come to him. It will come to you, Bear.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks very much for listening and your request. We're in the process of developing some merch which you will receive in due course.
Yeah, yeah. Just we're rounding up the kids in Vietnam just now to to work on our merch. We'll probably cut that.
I'll be all right.
So yeah, and I love this guy. I thought what a fantastic suggestion, and I looked up what is a landmark. What is a landmark to you, James?
Well, this is also a point that I was when you told me about this. This is also a thing that a point that I was thinking about. So I think it falls into two different categories, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you've got a landmark that is maybe like a natural thing, or maybe not even just a natural thing, but something on land or in the distance that you can go, right, okay. Did you ever do orienteering when you were in in school or whatever? So
Yeah.
you look on the map and there'd be like a cross on the map. It'd be like, well, that's a church. So you'd use that church as a landmark to go, right, I could go to the church and then go, whatever, 5 miles right. So you could use that as a landmark to sort of distinguish where you are on the land, right?
Absolutely.
But I think there's also another type of landmark which perhaps is a man-made sort of monument. If you think perhaps Statue of Liberty or Mount Rushmore, or even in this country like Stonehenge or something like that, which is more man-made, which you can go, okay, well, that's a landmark. Maybe it represents something in history, or maybe it represents, a time and a place. So I think it's quite a wide definition, landmark, I think, which is why I'm quite interested to see where you have gone with this episode.
Yeah, well, you'll be disappointed, I'm sure. Well, so I looked at what is a landmark, and like you've just explained nicely there, a landmark is basically something that marks a piece of land. So the official definition of a landmark can be anything. So a landmark could be a post box. So you could say, come into the village, turn left at the post box. That's a landmark because it's marking a piece of land where you turn left. A landmark could be a mountain, a tree, the Statue of Liberty. So yeah, to try and find the most dangerous landmark was quite a task.
I can imagine, yeah. I mean, well, we're going to find out, I suppose. But I mean, a dangerous landmark.
A dangerous landmark, yeah. So what I did as we do as our extensive research is I googled what is the most dangerous landmark in the world.
That's the go-to place, isn't it? That's when we come up with these episodes, we think, where should we start? And then that's it.
We ask Google, we read you what it says, and then we say thanks and good night.
Yeah, and with AI, did you see this thing in the news today? So Windows are releasing a new keyboard.
Right.
And do you know, and this is the first time they've done this in, I think think it's about 20 years or so.
Mm.
So the last time they released it had like the Windows key where you press it and it brings up the start button. And,
Oh yeah.
So this new Windows keyboard, which is coming out, if I remember, October, August this year, it's been released with all new computers, and it's got a button on it which is an AI button.
Right.
So you press it and it's integrated into the Windows Edge. Is that their search engine? That's the browser,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Bing, I think, is the search engine. Is it the Microsoft
That's
one?
right.
Bing.
Bing's Microsoft. Yeah.
Yeah, Bing. It's the new thing.
Mm-hmm.
So on this keyboard, it's got an AI button, and you can press that, and that's like the new thing, and you can, and ask AI your question. So yeah, come
AI
up.
is frightening. Like, what's everyone going to do for a job?
Well, I mean, I think we should embrace it. Nobody wants a job, do they? Does anybody really want a job? So why don't we just get AI technology and AI to do all that? They can produce stuff, and then we can live off their labours.
True, yeah, but like one guy like Bill Gates is probably going to hoover up all the money from AI.
Yeah, so then you have like a national living wage, don't you? So everybody gets a set amount per month. Right? This is going pretty deep, isn't it? So you have like a set amount. So say everybody gets like £2,000 a month, flat. That everybody gets that. Then if you want to top that up by getting another job or whatever, you can, or you can just sit on it and just live off it. And I think that's where society should go.
100%, I'd sit off it and live off it.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, where were we?
Back to the landmarks. So I googled what's the most dangerous landmark in the world, and a few of them came up. The landmark that actually has the most deaths is Niagara Falls.
Oh, I thought it might be something like that, like Grand Canyon or Niagara Falls.
Grand Canyon was number 2. They were very close, and most of them are suicides.
Right. So,
and some of them are just dickheads.
Like base jumpers and stuff.
Yeah.
Or people going over in a barrel.
Yeah, or extreme ironing. Have you seen extreme ironing?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, where they climb up like a tiny little slither of rock.
Yeah, and iron
somewhere in Monument Valley and iron without falling off. Yeah,
my partner won't even iron in the living room.
But yeah, so it's Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls is the most dangerous landmark according to statistics, because that's where the most people die.
Okay, so we're going back to this whole sort of thing of more deaths, more danger.
Yeah.
It's a difficult one though, isn't it? Because it is with suicide, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not making it because that's a personal choice, right? That's an individual choice. Yeah. So it's difficult to say that it's dangerous because that person has made that choice. So
yeah,
I don't know. I'll let you expand.
Well, yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Suicide is a choice. That doesn't, it's only dangerous, really, if death happens when you don't want it to.
That's what I was thinking. So,
yeah,
I mean, you might come to this. Are there any landmarks where, you go and there is a risk that you might die?
Yeah, so I found a couple. There's a road in Bolivia that goes along the side of a mountain, and quite frequently buses fall off it because it's such a narrow, gravelly road. That is known. That is known as a dangerous landmark because it's a well-known road. But I really struggle to find something that, Christ the Redeemer. No one's really died there. I struggle to find a landmark that causes a lot of accidental deaths.
Right. See, that road in Bolivia, I'm sure there was an episode of Top Gear where they did that.
Yeah, they've done some stupid things, haven't they?
Yeah. But then a road, but like you were saying before, anything could be a landmark.
Yeah.
I struggle to agree that a road is a landmark. Surely
it's become a landmark. Sorry, James. It's become a landmark because it's famous, because it's a famous road, because people die on it.
Okay. I'll meet you by the road where everyone dies.
Yeah.
So I guess so.
It's got a name, but page 1 of my notes I've mislaid, so I'll look it up and put it on the Facebook page or something.
Dangerous Mountain Road.
Okay, a road that's a landmark. There's the Electric Brae in Ayrshire, which is a road that, you roll up it instead of down.
Yeah, Spaghetti Junction.
Spaghetti Junction.
That's one that I just thought of there. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, so I suppose like a road. But that's a collection of roads. I don't know.
Yeah,
but, okay. But I get your point.
So I settled on a landmark to me that had a curse to it. We like curses, don't we?
Yes.
A bit of the paranormal. And I thought, right, so a landmark like, I don't know, the pyramids in Egypt, you could climb up and fall down them. But that's you being a dickhead. The Grand Canyon, you could fall off it going too close to the edge, or you could jump off if you've had a bad week. But so I hunted for something that had a kind of, like you said, something that's actually dangerous.
Yeah.
Something you go there and through no fault of your own, you get hurt or harmed by this landmark.
I think that's the point. I think I think we're trying to kind of look at no fault problems, if that makes sense. Like you said, like you mentioned before, suicide. Okay, we get it. I mean that is sort of a glorious kind of way to go. I'll throw myself off Niagara Falls. I throw myself off Grand Canyon. I mean, of course, we've mentioned before, it's a terrible thing. If there are people with issues, there are charities and things like that. So we don't want to go too much into that. But what we're looking for here, I think, is where you go to somewhere, and there's a chance that you will die because of there's a big risk.
So I found a landmark that has affected the lives of over 3 people here.
How many?
Over 3 people.
Oh, 3. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, but I'm not going there yet.
Okay, we'll hold our breath for that one, shall we?
So, James, I've got 2 questions for you here.
Okay.
Is there a landmark in the world that you would absolutely love to see? And out of landmarks that you've seen in the world, what is the favourite or the most special one that you have seen?
Right. Okay. The second part of that question is quite easy for me because I've been lucky enough to see the pyramids.
The proper ones in
Cairo, Giza. They're absolutely fantastic, and I don't think pictures do them justice.
I believe they're a lot bigger.
That's it.
Life
Yeah,
than
yes.
You can never imagine.
Absolutely. I was just about to say. So I'm roughly 6'1", I think, maybe 6 foot, and each stone is perhaps 6'5", so it's about 5 inches bigger than me. That's each stone. And and if you look at them on the telly, I just don't think it does it justice as to the actual sheer scale of these monuments.
I've heard that the big one, it's into like millions the number of stones that are in it.
I'm not. I can imagine.
Like 1.4 million stones or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, I can imagine that because the sheer scale of it's absolutely astronomical, and basically it's a ruin as well. So you go and see it, and it is just falling apart. So in your mind when you're looking at it, everyone's seen pictures of how potentially they could have looked back in 2000 BC or whenever they were built. Can't remember. Apparently they were sort of washed white with gold tips and things like this. So and they aligned with the stars and stuff, and it's just such an incredible experience. I sat on one of the stones and had like a ciggy, and it's just like so disrespectful but so overwhelming, because I had to, because it was just like, oh god, I can't believe how amazing this is. So that's the answer to the second part of your question. I think that's and the Sphinx as well is also there, which is also huge, and and you see it on telly and you think, oh, it's just a pyramid, but they're absolutely massive. One that I'd like to see, one of my sort of personal ambitions, if anybody wants to sort of raise money for me to do this, is I've always wanted to do the Trans-Siberian Express.
Oh, right, yeah.
I don't know if you've heard of this before.
Yeah, I've seen it on An Idiot Abroad. I'm sure they do it.
Yeah, so it's like Beijing to Moscow on the train.
Yes.
And you stop off and do a day here and there. It's like,
Mhm.
I don't know the exact route. I probably should look into it more, considering I want to do it so much. But off the back of that, I'd like to see the Great Wall of China.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I think that's another sort of monumental structure that was
Mhm.
built at a time where we didn't have all the technology that was available to us today.
Yeah.
So you just have to kind of sort of all these monuments from sort of BC and back in the day and stuff. It's slightly tragic because they're all built by slaves, aren't they? And they're just they're being whipped, basically. Just you've got to build this for your king. But I don't think that takes away the fascination and the bigging up humans here. Like what an absolutely brilliant feat to build something like that. I mean, I did hear that you could see the Great Wall of China from space. I don't think that's true, but it's a huge structure, and I would love to visit that one day. So there's my two.
Okay.
How about you? Throw that straight back at you.
Well, there was the one that I've seen. I actually wanted to see since I was in year 4 in school when we studied the Aztecs and the Mayans was Chichen Itza.
Oh, really? Oh, you've been there, have you?
Yeah.
Wow.
So on our honeymoon, we went to Cancun,
Right?
And we took a day trip to Chichen Itza, which was awful apart from seeing Chichen Itza.
Is it in the middle of the jungle? So did you have to do like a jungle trek to get there?
No, it's all commercialised now. There's like a motorway there and stuff. It was when they discovered it. It was actually much more of a ruin than it is now. They've kind of put it back together. They found all the rocks on the floor and built it back up, and to some extent, it was just like a mound covered in bushes and stuff.
Right. Is that the one they used to throw the head? They used to decapitate people and throw them down the steps. Yeah. That's
it. And they stripped all the bushes away, and they found loose stones, and they sort of titivated it up a bit, and they've cleared all the land around it.
Titivated.
But yeah, we went on this day trip, and we went in a hot coach for like 2 hours, and they gave us a warm fresh orange juice, a banana, and a cheese sandwich with no butter.
Yeah,
that was our lunch for the day. One of those excursions,
Yeah, get yourself up there. But you're not allowed to climb it, though, are you? I think
not anymore. You used to.
Yeah,
you're not allowed to touch it now. You got to be. And there's like a barrier about 2 meters away from it.
Yeah, I've seen like YouTube videos of people who are not allowed to climb it just go up there, and then like security are chasing them up.
Yeah. I didn't take that risk.
It's not worth it, is it?
But no, like you said, with the pyramids, Chichen Itza is actually a lot smaller than you'd think in real life.
Right.
It's not anywhere near in the scale of the pyramids in Giza. But there's something really breathtaking about just standing there thinking this is where they were cutting heads off, they were rolling down. This is real.
Yeah, I think that's the other aspect of it. That's the other aspect of it, isn't it? Yeah. Like, you can almost transform yourself back to that time to a degree and think, there were people here like 3,000, 4,000 years ago.
Yeah.
And imagine like with the pyramids as well, it's, a bustling community of people and it's just such a bizarre, mystical, if you like, feeling to sort of like to be there.
It's like what I quite liked about it is I've seen quite a few sort of decent landmarks, and it's just full of stalls selling shit. Buy this, almost free, so cheap, it's almost free, and all this, and just con artists selling crap.
I mean, Cairo's very much like that as well, yeah.
Yeah. But what they did, and I don't know if it's like this at the pyramids, what they did at Chichen Itza is there's all that shit, and then there's a bit that they almost sort of, the traders aren't allowed past. So once you actually get to it, it is just silent. They've sort of protected the pyramid itself and the surroundings.
Yeah.
And it is like this real nice sort of silent kind of just people taking it all in.
Yeah. No, that's very true. I mean, in Cairo, you've got the people selling the magic lamps and the plastic camels and all the shit and the tat and nobody wants, but but yeah, there are. I mean, I imagine in Mexico, it's a very busy place because so many people want to see it. You never get that moment where you're on your own, but nevertheless, if you are mindful enough, you can remove yourself from it because there are opportunities just to go, wow, this is absolutely incredible.
But no, I saw that, and that was a special moment, to be honest. And I'm just looking in my cabinet at the shit that I bought off the traders.
yeah.
A little stone Chichen Itza.
See, you're the problem. You're the problem.
And a cougar that you blow through the back of it, and it makes the sound of a cougar or a leopard or something.
What?
Some kind of cat.
You blow through the back of it?
Yeah, it's like a whistle, like a bird call thing. It was quack quack.
And you blow through
this
his
thing,
ass?
and you. No, it's just a head. It's just a tube coming out the back of its head.
Oh right, so it's not
blow through it, and it makes like a wildcat noise.
I see it blow up its ass now.
So just the shit that I still bought, even though I'm these dickheads ruining my day, but I still bought stuff.
You ruin it for everybody because that's why the traders are still there. So because people like you buy shit.
I know. And the little stone Chichen Itza, I think it was $25 for the cougar thing or the leopard or whatever it is.
US dollars?
Or US dollars. I took US dollars. They like them better than their own money.
And they charge you $25 for it. Wow.
$25, and I only had 30.
So you
instead of getting $5 change, I got the stone Chichen Itza.
They definitely saw you come in.
Yeah, he's like, this worth $8. Instead of giving me $5, I'll give you this worth $8.
Magic wish, give you magic wish.
Yeah, magic wish. So that's the one that I've seen. The one that I would love to see is Angkor Wat in Cambodia, the big temple.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
Angkor Wat.
Angkor Wat.
It's Angkor Wat. It's
I'm gonna have to look this up.
Massive temple in Cambodia.
Right, yeah.
I think it's all overgrown and stuff. I don't think it's
the largest religious structure in the world according to the Guinness World Records. A Hindu temple.
I'd absolutely love to see that in the flesh.
Oh, that's interesting. Shows how much I know. I've never even heard of that.
And another one that's near is Machu Picchu.
Right. Okay. Any particular reason that you want to see those, or is it just something you've read about, or you've seen in a film or something?
No, I actually just there's just something about that Angkor Wat. I think there's a real mysteriousness to it, and I think it is, like you said, it's that kind of, people were here thousands of years ago. That kind of the feeling you get when you go there.
Yeah.
That's it, really. Things like the Taj Mahal don't really interest me as much.
I think we grown up where we grew up, and I think Britain and England in general, the UK in general, I think we're a little bit spoiled in that respect because we do have a lot of history on our doorstep.
Yeah.
So Chester, there's an amphitheatre that's 2,000 years old, which we used to walk past going to school. And stuff like that. And I spent a little bit of my life in Pembroke, which has got Pembroke Castle, which is 600 odd years old, and I've been there many times.
Yeah.
So I think it's a bit of a funny one, isn't it? Maybe that brings us closer. That's why we feel like we feel, because it brings us closer to the past. Whereas I think maybe if you grew up in an area that perhaps didn't have that and everything was a bit more modern, you perhaps wouldn't have that connection. I don't know. That's just my thought.
Yeah, but you see, there's a lot of people that smoke their first weed on a park bench. We smoked our first joint on the Roman walls in Chester.
Well, that's it. Smoke their first weed. You're so hip, man. Well, that's true. Yeah, we did, man. My first bong was under the a 4,000-year-old bridge or something random.
Yeah. So. Anyway, I just wanted to know what sort of landmarks you'd like to see and what you have seen. So should we have a look at my choice for this week?
Yeah, go for it. That's what we're all waiting for.
Okay, so my dangerous landmark that I've selected is called the Humberstone.
The Humberstone. Let me have a think.
Have you ever heard of it?
I might have. Humberstone. So the Blarney Stone is Southern Ireland, isn't it? The Republic of
Yeah,
Ireland.
that's the one that you kiss.
You give it a kiss upside down on the top of a tower. The Humberstone. No, I give up.
Humberstone. The Humberstone is Leicester's oldest landmark.
Leicester, right?
Yeah, and it's a big rock that was left by a glacier 450,000 years ago during the Anglian Ice Age.
Right. Okay.
And basically, it's a massive stone buried in a field with just the top bit sticking out in the middle of a field.
Right. So how do they know it's massive?
I think at some stage they did uncover a load of it because they tried to get rid of it because it was in the way of the field. They dug down and down and down.
In the way of the field?
Yeah, they were like, I'll get to that. They were like, this stone's massive, just fucking leave it. So they built it back up again. But down the years, it's actually had various names, such as the Hell Stone, the Holy Stone, Hoston, and Holston.
Holston Pills.
Yeah. And they believe there's a curse of the Humberstone which dates back centuries and crops up in a series of tales.
Oh, right. I'm
sure
I've heard of this.
Humberstone. Yeah. It's said that between 1756 and 1766, the upper parts of the stone they were broken off so that a plough could pass over it without damaging the plough because it's in the middle of a field.
Okay. It's just a big rock. Okay, never mind. Go on.
Well, the owner of the land who did the deed of chipping away a bit off the stone never prospered afterwards. Apparently, he was reduced from being the owner of 120 acres to absolute poverty and died in 1810 in the parish workhouse.
Right.
Because
do you have any... Yeah, you say that, but can you just provide a little bit of context here? You might not have it. So he had quite a lot of land.
Yes, and 120 acres.
Chipped away at this stone.
Mm-hmm.
And then how long after chipping away at the stone did he then go into poverty?
I don't know.
I mean, are we talking the day after or 30 years later? Or
yeah, he woke up in the morning, everything was gone.
There's a tornado and he's just left in his underpants.
What I read about it apparently is once he'd started messing with the stone, his luck changed. From someone that was very successful in business, things started to go wrong, and he started to,
So again, for context, right?
Yes.
Who said this?
It was a Leicester newspaper.
Okay. So it's quite recent then. So it's like after the printing press. So what year was this? Did you say that?
1810. 1810 he died.
Right. So he died in 1810.
Yeah, late 1700s.
So he had a field. There was a big stone in it. He had lots of fields.
But very successful man, yeah.
And one of them had a big stone in it.
Chipped a bit of the stone away, and then he was potless.
And then he had nothing. But we don't know the time.
A lot changed. Well, he chipped away at it between 1756 and 1766. So he spent 10 years trying to knock a bit off the stone, and then he died in 1810. So it must have been within 30 years.
So, well, I mean, okay. But I mean, anyone can lose their fortune in 30 years.
Yeah.
But tell us. It's just a bit kind of, But
yeah,
let's go. Have we got any more on this?
Okay.
I don't want to sort of poo-poo it straight away.
No, well, here we go. This one's better. So a farmer in 1925 who now owns the land,
right?
Or he did in 1925.
Yeah.
He decided to build a haystack on the stone, and the haystack burst into flames. So he called the fire brigade, but as soon as they'd extinguished the fire and left, it burst into flames again. And basically, he tried to put it out again, couldn't do it, it just kept bursting into flames, so he had to just let it burn.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Couple of questions here,
Go on.
So how many feet? So this farmer, right?
Yeah.
Have we got a picture of this stone somewhere that we can have a look at? What's it called again?
The Humberstone.
Humberstone.
Yeah, it looks like a big stone.
In the middle of a field?
The middle of a field, yeah.
Right, hang on a second. Let me just see if I can have a Humberstone and recycling. No, I don't think no, it's not that. Ohio, USA. Leicester, you say?
Leicester, yeah. Humber, Humberstone.
Humberstone. Right, okay. Let me just have a quick check of this. I just want to have a look. Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's quite big, actually.
Yeah.
And it is in the middle of a big field.
Mm-hmm.
Why did he put hay on it?
Probably to cover it because it was in the way.
And then it burst into flames?
Yeah. Maybe he kept, like, fucking up the blades of his harvester on it.
I mean, it's big enough to go round.
Yeah.
You know, there are options. But then
It actually says that the hay continued to burn for 3 days.
It must have been a lot.
Villagers said it was due to the curse of the Humberstone.
Okay. It's quite interesting, that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, have a look at it, if listeners. Humberstone. Yeah. It's just a big stone in the middle of a field.
It is,
It's it's very interesting. But, okay, so... And he put hay on it and it burst into flames and burnt for 3 days.
Yeah, couldn't put it out.
And this was in 1926, did you say?
1925, yeah. So this is getting more to, like, you know,
more recent
real
times.
Life. Like,
there's a lot of questions there, though.
There is.
I mean, the ultimate one is why. But
yeah. So more recently, okay, we've got a 1980 case here.
Oh, recent.
So we were nearly alive then.
Really?
So more recently in 1980, a 10-year-old living close to the Humberstone had constant visits from a devilish entity. It was apparently a creature with a goat's head and long curving horns, a man's body and cloven hoofs.
Oh.
After drawing it at school, the boy's teacher asked what it was. "I don't know, miss," he said. "It's the thing I sometimes see at the end of my bed."
Right.
What do you think of that?
What's that got to do with that stone, though?
But he lived near it. Right, okay, ready?
He probably lived near a McDonald's.
Yeah.
That.
Ronald McDonald standing at the end of his bed.
It's a hamburglar.
Yeah. But the family left Leicester soon after, but the same house was then occupied by the boy's grandparents.
Right.
A month later, the Leicester Mercury proclaimed, "Humberstone ghost tried to choke me." The grandmother of the unnamed boy said, "I was roughly awakened, feeling that my life was being choked out of my body." The house in question was close to the Humberstone.
Oh, fuck off. Can I just apologise to Bear Plays here for this?
I'm sorry, pal.
Is this the angle you're going for? Right.
It is, yeah.
It's a fucking rock in the middle of a field. It's got nothing to do with goat-hooved fucking entities. What?
Okay, so the 19th century writer, John Dudley, conjectured that all these strange tales stem back to the stone's ancient use as a sacrificial altar.
Right.
The stone was previously known as the Hellstone.
Now we're getting somewhere. Right.
They actually believe that the stone was used as a place of sacrifice.
Yeah. I mean, that makes pagans were quite into that, weren't they? And if it's been there, I mean, looking at it, it doesn't look that natural. To be fair, it doesn't look like it's. Well, you said it was natural, actually.
Yeah, it was deposited by a glacier during the Anglian Ice Age. But they say that looking at the top of it, it does look like people have been carving it and chipping away.
It's been worn out, and
so,
it's got carvings in it and like grooves in it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It does look a bit weird. I mean,
people have messed with it.
Yeah.
And don't forget, the farmer was trying to chip bits off of it so his plough could pass over it as well.
Yeah.
So he was messing with it and lost all his land.
Well, you know. I don't know what to say.
And the Humberstone village acquired its name from the stone, for the places used for ancient bardic worship were known as Humbrids or Humbrids. Humberstone was plainly the ton or town of the Humberd, the place of bardic worship.
That was just noise to me. That what?
Basically, the stone has been used for religious rituals and sacrifices and stuff like that, and that's why people think that it's got
like an
cursed to it.
aura.
Yeah.
So,
and the village, the Humberstone village, is situated half a mile from the stone, which is as near as habitations seem to have been allowed to approach these sacred places where sacrifice was commonplace.
all right.
So what do you think? Big spooky stone in Leicester?
I'm a bit lost for words, actually. Like, there's got to be something. If you got more, there's got to be something else. Like, is this it?
That's it, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Perhaps you should have done like Grand Canyon or something.
Probably should have, yeah. I thought it was interesting. Like I said, I looked at landmark and I thought, wow, there's hundreds of landmarks, and it's a little bit like when I did jobs, and I thought, yeah, there's loads of dangerous jobs. Then I looked up the most dangerous job, and it was like lumberjacks. I thought, And by this point, it was like 6 o'clock, and I was doing a podcast at 8 o'clock, and I thought, I'm gonna have to run with this.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I've never heard of this before. So
yeah,
thanks for bringing it to my attention. Will I visit it? Is it on my list of monuments to pay a visit to? No, not at all.
no.
No.
But if you're ever doing the Walker's Crisp factory tour or something, the way back, you could stop by the Humberstone.
Stop by the Humberstone, yeah. Just don't chip a bit off it because you'll lose all your land.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, I looked, and like I said, you start searching the most dangerous landmark,
and this won't come up.
It does. It actually does. Well, I searched cursed landmark because, like I said, I mean, dangerous landmark. It was a really difficult one.
Of course, yeah, no, good effort. I mean, fair play.
I wasn't really a good effort. I wouldn't go that far.
No, it wasn't. Bad effort, poor effort. Fuck is Humberstone?
It interested me. I thought the curse of the Humberstone. What a good idea.
It interested you until you started reading about it, but then ran out of time and thought, shit, I've got to do it anyway.
Absolutely, yeah. No, you're bang on there. But I would like to. There's YouTube videos people have done about the curse.
There's YouTube videos about this.
Yeah, and that the most haunted that you talked about, where they go with the night vision cameras.
Oh, they don't go there, do they? That's a farce.
Humberstone, but I didn't watch them.
No shit.
I probably should have. So let's talk about the Grand Canyon now.
It's too late for that, pal.
But no, I mean, we've talked about we're going to change the format in a couple episodes, and
yeah. We've got one more of these, which is quite topical, I think, if we've got enough time, and then we're going to do a series, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's what we've decided.
We're going to do a series
unless anybody in the next week or so comes up with a suggestion.
Yes,
and then we could squeeze that in before we do our series.
Definitely.
So the usual thing: like and subscribe, and send your emails. And we're swamped with emails at the moment, so send them in. If you come up with a suggestion before we come up with our series, then we'll throw that in for you, and you'll get a nice prize as well.
Definitely, yes. Like James saying, like, subscribe. But do you know what the best thing you can actually do is just go
send us money.
Yeah, send us money. That'd be good. But just go and speak to some of your friends instead of just sharing it on Facebook. Say, do you know what? I've been listening to this podcast. It's quite good. You should listen to it. Give it a listen. If you don't like it, your friend might. You never know. But yeah, put the word out there. We want more listeners. We want loads of listeners. Millions of listeners one day.
Keep on talking about stones. We'll get there.
Yeah. All the Humberstone fans out there, I'm going to share this on the Humberstone Facebook page.
They haven't got a Facebook page, have they?
There's a Facebook page for everything.
Oh, you haven't even checked.
Definitely. There's a Facebook page.
We've been off for 2 weeks.
There's a Facebook page that posts a picture of the same pile of gravel every day.
The same what? Sorry, you cut out there.
There's a Facebook page where they post the same picture of a pile of gravel every day. And it's got
That's
102,000 followers.
that's where the world is right now.
Yeah. But do you know what annoyed me? It's the same picture.
So yeah, right. So it's not even a different photograph.
I would respect them more if every day they went out and took a new picture of the gravel, so that over time you could see weeds growing and disappearing and the seasons changing. It's actually just the same picture
I'd
posted
respect
every
them
day.
more if they just simply stopped.
Yeah, just go and get a job or something. But yeah, so I'm sure there's a Humberstone Facebook page, but
We'll post it
I
on there, for their ultimate respect.
don't look at it. But yeah, I liked it. I liked. I know it's not the most dangerous, but I liked
It's
the
the most.
idea.
It's not the most dangerous. It's potentially the
No.
most dangerously boring.
Do you know what I liked about it though? People go, Chichen Itza and the heads rolling down and stuff like that, and Petra in Jordan, the big thing carved in the mountain that
Oh yeah, there
Indiana
was
Jones
Indiana
goes in.
Jones went to. Yeah,
Yeah, and do you know that they reckon that the Ark of the Covenant, that's in a little church in Ethiopia?
yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah, and no
See
one
all
can
these
go in.
things that you're saying right now.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say this, but it would have made things like 10 times better.
but all of those, I thought, yeah, well,
I'll pick
they're
a
all dead
random
obvious.
stone in the middle of
Yeah.
a field in Leicester.
But that's what I liked about it. This is a stone that's been deposited by the Ice Age. That
The Ice Age
this,
isn't
this.
a person. It's just a thing. It's just a natural thing that's happened.
Well, I know, but why was it knocking about with a big massive stone?
Why didn't you talk about the Ark of the Covenant?
Yeah, that would have been a good idea.
Or I don't know, that thing in Jerusalem where Jesus was born and all that.
Bethlehem.
Because there was they've got a thing in Bethlehem, haven't they? Where
Oh,
Bethlehem,
you go like
Bethlehem.
downstairs, downstairs where he was born.
Yeah, apparently so. Yeah, where it used to be a stable and that.
Yeah.
But you picked a stone in a field in Leicester.
I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
Everyone knows about Bethlehem and stuff like that, and
Yeah,
the Ark of the Covenant and stuff. But there's 7 people now that know about the Humberstone.
I know,
Maybe
and unfortunately, I'm one of them.
8. But what I was going to say is,
I think you said enough.
yeah, when I looked at Landmark, I actually thought this series that we're going to do, that Landmark really should have been done in a 5 or 6 part, where we could have picked a couple of each and talked about it.
Yeah, I mean that's a maybe, but
Yeah.
I'm also thinking it probably shouldn't have been done at all.
Possibly. But Bear Places, he's a good lad, and I
I'm
told him I'd
joking.
do
I'm
it.
joking. Yeah, thanks, Bear, for your great suggestion there.
Yeah.
Thanks, Fraser, for putting little to no effort into it.
Do you think Bear's sitting just now going, I wish I'd suggested something different?
Yeah, well, I am.
It was interesting. I mean, that devilish entity that visited that 10-year-old boy.
No fucking context to it, though.
He went down the road from Humberstone.
No fucking context. It's it's just a stone and an entity. There's no correlation between the two. We need to have words, I think.
Yeah. So, do you have anything else to add to this week's podcast, James?
Fuck. I'm going home.
Oh, it's been a laugh anyway.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Kind of.
Are we done?
I hope so. Thank you, everybody, for listening.
So, like I said, my summary is it's a big spooky stone in Leicester.
It's not even spooky. It's just a stone in a field.
If you happen to be out in your car, knocking about Leicester, you drive past the Humberstone, just drive on.
Yeah.
All right. Go and see the crisp
But
factory.
but
That'll be
listen to
better.
the drive on whilst listening to this.
Yeah, listen to the podcast. Yeah, it's a good one. Um, so on that note, that's been the most dangerous podcast.
The least dangerous podcast.
Least dangerous, but it's got to be more dangerous than something.
It's what, a stone in a field.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. We'll be back next week, I think.
Maybe we'll have a chat about it. James will be back. I don't know if I will. He might replace me. That's been the most dangerous podcast. Like, share, tell your friends. Thanks for
I
listening.
wouldn't.
Speak to you soon. See you, James. Bye bye.